One of the best parts about every new NRL season is that we get to see some fit blokes and new jerseys. So today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going through the best NRL signings for the 2024 season. Now, to save as much time as possible, and well, you don't have to listen to me all day, we're going to talk about the top 5. There's been heaps of good signings this year. So let's kick it off with a few honorable mentions. So a lot of you don't have to dislike the video. If you do like the video, please smash that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a comment down below where I went right, where I went wrong, which is probably nowhere because I'm a genius. So let's kick these off with the honorable mentions. We got Spencer Leniu and Dominic Young. I think the Roosters, they're such a good team already, but Spencer Leniu, I think, would definitely be a guy who can replace Jadaria Hargraves long term. And Dom Young, you can't go wrong. It's just two positions that I'm not sure the Roosters need. There will be good long term, but in the short term, it's a lot of money. Two guys they've got coming in. I think guys in the previous team will just have to be dropped. Latu Fainu, we spoke about him a bit in the Tigers videos, which I've seemed to be loving lately, but he could easily be the long-term partner for Jerome Luai. I can't remember a young 5'8" coming in with this much hype since maybe, Sam Walker from a few years ago. So it's going to be great and interesting to see how he goes. And I definitely think he could be the long-term partner to Luai as they make a potential premiership run in the back end of the decade. Kurt Capel, I think, is a really good pickup for the Warriors. I'm not sure if he'll even start, but just having a guy who's been in successful clubs coming in, bringing more so than culture and off the field more than anything. But Kurt Capel, I can't wait to see how he goes at the Warriors. He'll be more important off the field than anything. Sele, probably the best recruit for the Dragons. I thought he was really underrated at South Sydney last year, and I'm surprised the Souths let him go. I think he's an unbelievable talent. He's going to be there for the next, until his body starts to crumble. Jake Averillo, a great signing for the Dolphins, can pretty much cover anywhere in the back line. It could be interesting to see where he maybe ends up, maybe at 5'8", but I think just lock him in at center and have him there going forward. Bronson Xerri, probably the biggest X factor on this list. He could easily be undeserving of being on this list entirely. I don't think he'll set the world on fire immediately. Once he gets used to it, his pace in the outside backs, and look how big he is. I don't know what substance he's been taking in 4 years, but I like to believe that it's just from bulking in the gym. And KO Weeks, it didn't work out at Manly, but I easily think that he could be the long-term solution to Jack Wighton. He showed glimpses when he played a few games off the bench for Manly. Outside of that, really failed to lock down a starting position, but I do think he's the best shot the Raiders have at finding their new 5'8" to replace Jackie Boy Wighton. And there are the honorable mentions. I can completely understand why someone would have any of them in the top 5, but this is my video. Get your own. So coming in at number 5, and we're already cheating here a little bit, but I'm looping these guys together. It's the two Broncos boys, Tommy Flegler and Herbie Farnworth. I thought these were two phenomenal signings at the time, and as Broncos season went on, the form of these two blokes only continued to improve. I think this is an incredible get by the Dolphins. These two guys, they could be starting for the Dolphins well into the late 2020s. Herbie Farnworth, for me, is one of the most underrated centers in the competition. If you had him in the top 3 centers, I would not argue at all. In fact, I could probably agree with you. For me, at least last year, he was the best left center in the competition in club footy. And Tom Flegler, he was great for Queensland. He was awesome for Australia. To get a caliber of players that these two are, it's not club defining, just unfortunately because of the positions they play. But Tommy Flegler, if Jesse Bromwich is moving on, I think he could be phenomenal for the Dolphins. And Herbie Farnworth is going to add so much strike, but also he's such a good defender. A lot of people underrate that when it comes to outside backs. And for me, maybe you guys were watching different games and disagree, but Herbie Farnworth was one of the best defensive centers in the entire competition. Any club to add 2 internationals is just incredible. And for the Dolphins to get these two guys from down the road is only going to add to this rivalry. And for the Dolphins, it's 2 huge gets. And for the Broncos, it's 2 huge losses. These two are going to be such good long-term, and the marketability of Tommy Flegler's bananas and Herbie Farnworth just being one of the hottest guys in rugby league is only going to make the Dolphins a bigger NRL club. In at number 4, and look, this guy could easily be number 1, but it is one of the greats all time, Luke Brooks. Luke Brooks has unfortunately been, and look, it's no fault of anyone in the medias. I mean, the West Tigers have been an embarrassment for well over a decade now, and unfortunately, Luke Brooks has been basically the signal for that. He's been the halfback there, and he's struggled big time, but he's always shown ability, Luke Brooks, and now not only is he going to a team where he's not even the first or second option when they're fully fit. He's going to a team, one of the best halfbacks all time, one of the best fullbacks when he's fit all time, and he's got one of the best forward leaders in the competition with Jake Trbojevic. So Luke Brooks isn't even a top 4, top 5 player on the team anymore. And him moving to 5'8", we've been wanting to see him move for so long at the Tigers. I can't wait to see how he goes. And it's not even that. He's going to have so much strike to play with. He had David Nofaluma. There are probably some other guys that are escaping my mind right now at the West Tigers, but he's going to have the guys like Kula, like Saab, like Olakau'atu, like Josh Schuster if he can get his act together. Having all those guys fully fit and at your disposal makes it so much easier for a half. Maybe it just comes to Manly's forward pack, which I do think is a bit weak. But if Paseka can kick on, if Sipley can kick on, then it's going to give a great platform for Luke Brooks to play off the back of. And there could be a lot worse for Manly than having Luke Brooks as your 5'8". He's entering the prime of his career, maybe still a few years off of it. And to be partnering one of the game's best halfbacks and having all that strike outside of him, I'm very excited. And look, don't be surprised if he's in sky blue come the middle of the year. In at number 3, and for a lot of last year, he was my number 1, but it is the former Canberra Raider, Jackie Wighton, who was going to the South Sydney Rabbitohs. And when this guy signed for South last year, I thought this locked in the Rabbitohs 2024 premiership. They've been kicking on the door for years now, and I thought this would finally be the thing that pushed them over. But last year's season exposed a bit of South Sydney, mainly their forward pack, which has only gotten weaker. And we'll talk about more about the overall side when we get into our predictions, but I do think Jack Wighton is a great get for the South Sydney Rabbitohs. It's just unfortunate that South Sydney had all this money to spend on Jack Wighton when they could have kept Adam Reynolds, but again, that's a different conversation. We all know about the utility value of Jack Wighton, and I think that's a great asset. I don't think South Sydney really have to lock him into a specific position. I think there's a case that he could be playing 5'8", and Cody Walker to halfback. I think the obvious choice is for him to play center, but I even think maybe you could stick him in the back row. Maybe you could even put him at fullback and put Latrell back in the left center, because I think Latrell would gladly move over for someone like Jack Wighton to take his spot. He's got South Sydney Rabbitohs written all over him. He's obviously a proud Indigenous man, and the South Sydney Rabbitohs are a proud Indigenous club, so it looks like a match made in heaven. And, you know, if South Sydney can reach their potential, there's no doubt that Jack Wighton can be a huge case to why the Rabbitohs push for a premiership in 2024. At number 2, and I'm so excited this guy's back. Maybe put him a little bit too high because he has been out of the game for some time, but Roger Tuivasa-Sheck has come home and he's gone to the New Zealand Warriors. And what makes this even better is that the New Zealand Warriors enter 2024 as one of the favorites for the competition. And I know I'm not saying that they're going to win the competition, but adding RTS definitely isn't going to hurt your chances. I do agree that I would keep Chance at fullback. Also, just part of the age thing, I think Chance could easily be the long-term fullback, not just for the Warriors, but also for the Kiwis. So the obvious choice for me is put RTS at center, maybe even wing. I would probably lean towards center just because centers get involved way more into the game these days. And I know we love to talk about it with Manu, with Turbo, but he could easily fill a roaming center role. I haven't watched him too much in rugby union, and like Bronson Sherry, I think it'll take time before he acclimatizes to the speed and whatever of the game, whatever you experts like to say. Having that speed, having that acceleration, having that footwork out wide is going to be a nightmare for opposition edges. And RTS, if they were that good last year without him, imagine how good they're going to be in 2024 with him. But coming in at number 1, this was an easy choice for me. Best case for this year and long term. Stephen Crichton of the Bulldogs. This is the best signing the Bulldogs have made, which sounds pretty crazy because they got who was at the time the best winger in the Fox, the best up-and-coming 5 in the game, Matty Burton, and the best back row of Viliami Kikau. But I do think that Stephen Crichton could finally be just the game changer the Bulldogs have been waiting for. In saying that, this could all crumble. Like I just said, the Fox was easily the best winger in the competition, and then his first year at the Bulldogs, he couldn't even stay in the New South Wales side. But I am the one who is predicting, not am the one, but I am one of the people who is predicting that Stephen Crichton has to be the fullback for the Bulldogs. They've been screaming, they've been crying out for one, and as many utilities as they've signed, just give Stephen Crichton the keys to the kingdom at fullback. At least it gets him involved, and he's going to be the one who's going to be able to create your most points. You can't waste him out in the centers. He's an unbelievable goal kicker as well, so he'll probably slot straight into there. Allow Matty Burton to focus focus on other things in his game, because I don't think Stephen Crichton is good enough to take him from, last all the way to like the top 4 and contending to a premiership. But I think he's the biggest key signing the Doggies have made. He's the best outside back in the competition. The Penrith Panthers go nowhere near to winning that grand final last year if he's on the team. Samoa go nowhere near making the World Cup final if he's in that team. So he's an incredible player. He's an incredible signing. Easily, for me, the best signing of 2024. And I can't wait to see him in the blue and white. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know where I went wrong, where I went right in my comment section down below. Smash that like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. We're talking footy from here on out in 2024. Maybe we'll dabble in some other stuff, but mainly footy. So subscribe if you're a mad footy head. But yeah, do the big 3. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know where I went wrong or right. Let me know if you agree. Just let me know. Let me know. All right, guys. I'll see you in the next one.